She's the friend who'll show up with coffee or wine when you need it most. But probably wine. Good vibes are on the way. Welcome to Erin O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency.
Hi, it's Erin. Welcome back to Erin O'Malley's Feel Good Frequency. I love having you here. My mom said, I just read an article about this woman who rescues animals, and she does it to honor her mom. She's kind of carrying on her legacy. It's called Funny Farm Rescue. And immediately I'm thinking of the fantastic movie with Chevy Chase that I loved back in the 80s. And I love the name. And then I went and researched it, and I love what this woman, Laurie, is doing and the amount of animals that she is rescuing and taking care of that had nowhere else to go. She is making the world a better place, and she is the perfect guest for this frequency. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I just enjoyed chatting with her. Laurie Zaleski, you are such a gem of a human, and I am so excited to talk to you because I've never met anybody like you. And you have a place that is called the Funny Farm, which sounds like a place I should actually be residing in. But my mom, I have everybody on the lookout for guests for this podcast of mine. And she read about you in Woman's World. And I said, oh my gosh, tell me more. Tell me more. I love this woman already. And so she sent me the article. And then I'm like, I have got to talk to you because I think you are a spectacular human. So let's go back to the beginning of how all of this started, because you have such an incredible story, and it all begins pretty much in your childhood with your mom, who worked at an animal rescue shelter. Is that right?
Animal shelter, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I love the fact that she would bring home any animal that was about to be euthanized.
Yeah. So everybody says, how did you start the Funny Farm? And I always say my answer is not on purpose. My mother was going to be a nun and then married the devil. My father, he was very abusive. So she took the kids and left. We moved into a shack in the woods. Our rent was $100 a month. We had no water, no electric in the beginning. Of course, we got that. And we would cry, and she would say, that's okay, kids. We're living here. The more you cry, the less you pee. And she just was like, this is where we are now. And she was a Stepford wife before. So she didn't go to college, so she loved animals and started working at a shelter and brought home every animal that they were going to euthanize. Now, it wasn't a farm where we were. They lived in our house. We had one bedroom. My sister and I stayed in there. My mom lived in our living room with a baby pig, a baby horse. We had raccoon, a possum, a skunk. Back then you could have wildlife. Now they have all the licenses now, so it's not the same. Of course, cats and dogs, but we had quite a few animals, but they all lived together. So from the time I was 5, we were supposed to be there temporary. We wound up staying there 26 years. And in my late 20s, I said, I had always said as a little girl, Mom, I'm going to buy you your own farm one day. And in my late 20s, she was diagnosed with cancer, and I went to buy her the farm that I'm in now. And she passed away right before I made settlement. However, she did see it. I said, she's here. I buried her in my front yard. Her ashes, not her body, but that would be illegal. Right. People look at me like, what? I'm like, I bought this farm for you. You're here. And she haunted me for 3 months. And I'm like, Mom, I got this. But
Wait a minute. So when she did see it, though, right? She did see
she saw it's not easy to buy a home. It takes after I bought the home, it was so upsetting. I'm like, I'll never move again. And I'm never leaving this house. I mean, everybody I love is here. And I just knew that I had to get this for her. And her dream became my dream. I said, so life happens when you're busy making other plans. I have a full-time job. I'm almost a part-time job right now because I work for the government, but I have a graphic design and photography business. I thought I was going to be a photographer traveling around the world. And now my cowgirl boots are firmly planted in New Jersey.
I was going to say, you started that business, right? And then your mom passed, and were you just trying to do everything?
I was doing my own business. I used to work for Campbell's Soup, and I was doing my own business so I could care for her when she wound up getting cancer.
Oh.
I started it before that, but then I really, was boots on the ground with her, and I said, I don't care about my career or anything. Let me just take care of my mom. Because you only have one mom,
Of
and
course.
she was supposed to live 6 months, and she lived 4.5 years. That woman went kicking and screaming.
Wow.
I never had someone that had such a will to live. She is incredible, So anyway, like I said, her dream became my dream, and here I am, 750 animals later.
Oh my gosh.
I was kind of the problem with my mom when I was a kid. I'm like, Mom, it needs a home. Can we bring it home? So I was always that kid that was bringing them all home.
Oh
And,
yes, I know that feeling.
yeah, so she and I together were, we were a bad combination, but I never thought that this is what I was going to be doing. Actually, when I started, I've been here since the year 2000, and I wasn't even a nonprofit. For 12 years, I did it on my own. And then when my bills got to be about $4,000 a month for feed, I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't pay my mortgage and this. So that's when I became a nonprofit, just to get a tax break on my feed. And then people were like, can I visit? Can I volunteer? And I'm like, what are you people talking about? This is where I live. I wrote a book called Funny Farm, My Unexpected Life with 600 Rescue Animals. Because I used to say, Mom, you have to write a book. Nobody would believe your life. And
Right.
When she didn't, I'm like, I don't have the time. Somebody said, Laurie, after they heard the stories, they're like, you have to do it. And it took me 3 years, but it wound up going really well, and it wound up getting like Book of the Week in People magazine. We were on Kelly Clarkson. We got to go on CBS Sunday Morning, and I went from People to AARP.
Wow. Hey.
Yeah, I'm like, how did that happen?
That's a strange shift. Come on, peeps.
Right,
Really?
right. But it's been incredible because it's all been helping the rescue here. We're the place where they had little or no hope, and those animals come here. So we have a lot of disabled animals, a lot of animals that are elderly. So it's really hard because, you deal with death quite often when you're already taking somebody in who's, elderly, and then they don't
Sure.
have a lot of life left. But, we give every animal as much life as we can, as long as they're not suffering. They are here, and we will do anything. We are not beggars. We don't beg for money. We have really cool events. We have golf tournaments, and we have festivals, and
Don't you even host weddings sometimes?
we do. So we don't advertise that because it takes a special couple to say I got married at the Funny Farm. That's my bird. So the first wedding we ever had, Cowboy My Naughty Goat came and ate all the flowers off the aisle while the people were saying their vows.
Oh
So
my gosh, that's hilarious.
it's definitely, you have to be a special person to be here, or to have, we had a first birthday here, and a couple of my dogs jumped in and ate their entire cake before they unloaded.
Oh my gosh.
So, I'm like,
Your
well,
stories are
I
spectacular.
just always say 100% of your money goes to the animals, though. So, we're not paying people. We are helping. We are here to help the animals. That's why I have my job.
That is absolutely remarkable. What is really incredible to me is that you took such a time of grief. It's so obvious the way you talk about her, how close you were with your mom, and the fact that you kind of took her baton and carried it, and now you're just living this dream that she, without you even knowing, instilled in you from the time you were so little. I mean, you lived with miniature horse and pigs and
Yep.
goats and everything throughout your childhood. And did she know how to care for the sick ones? Because obviously some people don't even get a dog because the vet bill they're afraid of. I can't even imagine.
So that was the thing. We really didn't, if my mom had $2, $1 went to the kids and $1 went to the animals. We didn't have money for vets. So she had some Red Cross training from going to be a nun, and, she used that, and we basically gave them love. And I'll tell you, it goes a long way. So now, obviously, we have vets. I have like 12. Everybody says, how's your vet? I said, I have like 12 of them. It depends on what the animal is.
Sure.
So we're at the vet, there's the vets here every week, just about, with that many animals. But we are a free place to visit because of my mother, because she had nowhere to go. And because if she had $2, she didn't have anywhere to take us. So I leave it free to get in. If people want to visit.
And that's in honor of her, correct?
In honor of her. And I had somebody say to me, my volunteers, they're like, Laurie, we had 1,000 people come through here today. It would have been $1,000 if you just charged $1. And I said, that's okay. Somebody might not have had that dollar, so we don't have to. If they have money and they want to put in a donation bucket, they can. If they want to buy food, they can. But if you want to come and you're in between jobs or checks, you can come and still enjoy these animals. And I was telling that story one day on a hayride, and this woman started crying, and I'm like, what's the matter? And she said to me, your story touched me so much. It's exactly my story. I haven't had alimony or child support. I had nowhere to take my children, except for here for the last year and a half. And she said, I'm finally on my feet. And she handed me a $20 bill.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm going to cry.
Yeah, so I was just like, that's one person that I know that we affected. But, there's a lot of people who are too proud to talk about it. So if you leave it free, and I said, in honor of my mother, I will always do that. And the animals do walk around loose here because of the way I was brought up. That, I think, is our biggest claim to fame. They're like, I don't understand how they all get along. Because we acclimate them, we're like, okay, they do fight like brothers and sisters. That's how it is, even with people, but nobody's killing each other. They get in a little bickering match, and I, as their mother, have to yell at them, and then we're good. So
it is incredible how the animal world respects each other. I kind of wish people world was like that all the time.
Yep.
Because
yep,
it's so different with the animals.
So we do a kindness program for that reason. I mean, I don't have human children, but we go to schools and teach about kindness and anti-bullying. And the stories that I had been hearing, I was like appalled. So we have 3 children's books, and we use the animals, and they're the real stories of the real animals. And we say, if all these different species can get along, so can we as humans. And you never know if somebody's feeling sad on the inside. Like when I was growing up, my mom was getting beaten at night, and I was going through all these crazy things, and you're not going to school and talking about that. And
of course not.
Like, if people, kids were picking on me because I was so tall. I was 5'10" in like sixth grade. So they would call me Holly Green Giant and Amazon girl, and I would come home and cry. My mom would say, "We could chop off your feet. You'd be shorter, Laurie." But
what a great sense of humor she seemed to have.
Every
time you've told a story, it's something that's making me laugh about her. Like, wow, through everything she went through too. That's so impressive.
I don't think I would be the same as her. She is the most inspirational woman that I ever met. And it's not just because it's my mom. I would have friends come over and be like, can I talk to your mom? Like they would come, my friends wouldn't come to see me. They would be like, I need to talk to your mom. She would give great advice, and always like, she was that mom that she said, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, well, I was going to go out, but I'm going to clean my room. She said, the dirt will be there. Go have fun.
Oh,
wow. When I got back, she's like, okay, tomorrow you're cleaning your room. But
guess what?
But she said, go live your life, because that stuff doesn't really matter. So she really knew what was important in life. And, the one main thing was her animals and her kids, of course.
Of course. And you have a sister?
I have a sister and a brother. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody says, do they help you? I go, no, not really.
I was just about to say, do they come help you?
So if I really need help, but my volunteer group that's here, they are like my extended family. People are like, oh, people will help you. I'm thinking, nobody's going to ever come help me for free. We have a volunteer program that is bar none. We have our volunteer coordinator. She comes from Philly every week, from Pennsylvania. She drives down, works the whole weekend. She runs her own business and then handles all the volunteers, and it's amazing. Like, we get right back to them. We're just, and you can kind of do anything. If you go to some places, you're like, oh, you got to be 16. You could be 3 and come, as long as you have an adult with you if you're under 15. So it's great opportunities for kids, because we need to start them young. You can't, at 16, they're developed. I say start them at 3, and they say that kids and people that deal with animals and work with animals are such much kinder people. And, they're not the killers or the murderers in the town. They are the people that are helping other people. So
they have empathy from the very start. I feel like when you grow up around animals, it's just a whole other world. I'm so grateful that I had that. I mean, God knows I didn't have what you had.
What did you have growing up?
We always had a dog, and then for a bit we had a guinea pig. We had a bird for a while named Chip. I do remember Chip. Oh, and we had rabbits. I loved the rabbits. I was very sad when the rabbits ended up passing. That was I still talk about it to the point that my husband bought a rabbit cage and we have it in the house. But of course, we have a spaniel. And I'm like, I don't know that they'll get along. That's making me a little nervous. So
No, you'd be surprised. You just have to acclimate them, Erin.
I
So
know she started getting acclimated to a chipmunk that lived nearby, and well, let's just say that didn't go very well. And so I'm very nervous because I'm the Snow White of our household, where I want to make sure that the animals outside have. It's too hot right now, so I'm putting water out for them. Even though we abut a pond, and my husband's like, the pond's right there. I'm like, but that's dirty water, and I can't even imagine how attached you get to all of these animals, and you are literally saving their lives. That's what's so incredible too. It's you're taking in ones that had nowhere else to go. I'm sure you never say no.
So, I never used to. That's how I got 750. But after a while, so in my house, I have 12 dogs, 35 cats, a cockatoo, a baby goat, and about 5 or 6 chickens. So it's like the hospital in here.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so outside, there's over 700 out there. And I have 25 acres. I have 2 bulls. Actually, I have 3 bulls. They're bulls and then become a steer when you get them fixed. They're 2,000 pounds, 2 of them. So, they take up space. I have a bunch of horses, pigs. So after a while, the city's like, wait, how many animals do you have and how much acreage? So we're at the point where we're getting full in some departments. But then again, if somebody dies off, we automatically fill that spot. So, with the cats, again, we're volunteer run. I have a woman that takes care of the cats, and she has a disabled daughter at home. She's here every day. People don't realize Christmas, she's here. New Year, she's here. Easter, she's here. So it's not just her. There's all sorts of people, and it's people. It's become like I said, my extended family because they're here on holidays with me. The animals have to eat and drink.
I was going to say they have to eat.
They can't feed themselves, right?
Exactly.
So thank goodness for them. If I didn't have the army behind me, it wouldn't happen. And I never really thought I would get one. And when I did get an army, I was just like, this is incredible. Like, not in a million years would I think this would happen.
But you know that your mom sent you the army.
Yes, she did. But you know what? People are really good. I know the media talks about all the bad people. I cannot believe how many good people there are. So remember I was saying I don't beg. People just will drop checks in the mail. They just, out of their goodness of their heart, they'll leave money in the donation buckets. They try and support us however they can because they see what good we're doing for these babies. And but people really are. There are so many good people out there.
That's the whole reason I started this podcast, because if you ever watch the news, not that you ever have a second to do that, but when you do watch the news, it's okay, well, same. Every story is one bad thing after the next, and maybe you get a little minute clip, if that, at the very end of somebody doing something good. And I thought, you know what? I really want to highlight people that are making the world a better place, because there are so many of them, and all we hear about are the bad. And I try to remind myself that that's because that's sensationalized and that's not normal. It's not normal for somebody to go kill a bunch of people, even though you hear it over and over again, you almost get desensitized. But that's if that was normal, they wouldn't be leading with it. The majority of people at their core are good, and I need to hear about more of them. And I love talking to you because you're so that. You're so that.
Well, myself and it's like I said, the people, we had a cow, Yogi, the bull, he went down and he couldn't get up. We were getting him up. We had a machine. We got him up. He wouldn't stand up. So one of my farmer's friends came over and he said, Laurie, it's time. And I'm like, it is not time. I'm like, go home. So of course he left and I'm like, I'm crying. So I said to my social media guy, I'm like, post that we need help. Very rarely do we say Funny Farm needs help. We're not one of those like cry what if we need help, we're saying it. And we said, we need a bunch of strong people to come over. We're lifting this cow. And this guy drove in with $1 million crane and he lifted this cow. First of all, I didn't even think it would fit in the farm. He came in, he lifted him, and the cow still wouldn't walk. But after everybody started like rubbing his legs, and he popped out of his butt strap and started like running, and he wound up being fine. And
Oh my God.
I didn't know this, but my social media guy was doing a live video, and I said to him, that could have gone so bad. I called my vet because I thought we may have to euthanize him. If he can't walk ever.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen. But like I said, we keep trying. And I said, why would you have done that? And he said, did you see the community come together for a cow that they didn't know because the Funny Farm needed help? He said, That was the story. He said, I was hoping for a good outcome, but the story was that all these people just showed up. And I said, like in an hour, like at 3:30 on a Thursday, it was like everybody left work early. It was crazy. And I'm like, I was asking later, how'd you hear? And he said, my secretary told me, can you go help? And they just were, it was amazing. And so like I said, when we ask for help, just people just show up.
You are definitely in the right place. Oh my gosh. Telling the story, and I'm thinking, your mom was told she was going to have such a short time left, and look at how long she survived because you were her caretaker. There's something about you, man. They don't want to leave you.
It's that, and I think it's attitude. I mean, she had a great attitude. You have to have a good attitude. Believe sometimes I'm like, I wish I had more of my mom's attitude, because sometimes it's hard. You get
God,
down,
I'm sure.
when animals die or get sick. I just feel like every week I'm like, oh my gosh, like how many more? Or if you have 2 or 3 that one's in this vet, one's at that vet. I have my dog with the feeding tube, but you have to just keep plugging on. And some of the volunteers get very upset, and I say, listen. You if somebody passes away, you have to grieve, and then you move on, because there's all these other animals that need you. So that's hard for some people that aren't, people think they can't believe that I still cry. And I said, you don't ever get used to death. Sure. You mourn probably shorter, and then you have to move forward because so many need you. There's so many mouths that are like, Mom, I'm still here. I know. I see you. I'm helping you now. I had to cry and get that out of my system, and I'm good now.
Moving on, knowing that you always have somebody else to help. That's got to be a good thing for you mentally. Somebody else needs me now. That's got to make it a little bit more bearable.
That is a good point. You're right. It does. And I always tell people, if you have like a dog and it's getting older, I'm like, get another dog. Mm-hmm. I can't even tell you, one of my mega esophagus dogs. Do you know what that is? That's the dog that has to sit in a high chair. I have 3 of them. They sit into a high chair and they have to drink their food because their esophagus is too large. And
oh my gosh.
First one, I know. The first one, they said that they usually will only live 6 months. So the vets all say euthanize them. And I said, well, if they're going to live 6 months, then they're going to live the best 6 months then ever here at the Funny Farm. So why would we euthanize them? As long as they're not suffering, And they said, well, no, but even with that belly chair, they're not going to make it. My first dog that had that lived 5 years and a month. And when he died, yes. Can you imagine if I robbed him of all that? And he was in the vet, he was at University of Pennsylvania, and it was, the vet bills were big, but he was so worth it. And when he died, I didn't think I could get another dog that had mega esophagus. And I would get mad at people when they said they lost their pet. I'd be like, you're going to get another one? And they would say no. I'd be like, oh, you better go help somebody else. Well, the first time ever I felt what they were feeling. And somebody brought another German Shepherd to me and said, they called me and said, will you take him? And I said, no. Well, they showed up at the farm with him, and I'm like, how do you say no to that little face, right?
No, you don't. That's the problem. I was like, the second the dog showed up, I knew it.
Yeah. So anyway, he's the one now that I have who's 7 years old that now just got a feeding tube this past month. And he almost passed away, so he's my longest living mega esophagus dog. And I have 2 others, one's 4.5 and one's 1.5 years. So, and we're spreading that, we're spreading the word about mega esophagus, that it is not a death sentence, that they can live, pretty full lives. It might be a little shortened, but not 6 months,
Right. And the fact that, they're not suffering. It's just a different way for them to have to eat and live. As long as they're not suffering, like you said,
right.
That's the best part of it. And look at all those years that they got because of you.
And remember, it's easier for me when I have my army here. I mean, they care about them like they're their own animals. Like it's like my dog is their dog. All of my dogs are their dogs. It's amazing. They really touch people. I have a chicken that Adele the Diva chicken. Here's her book. She has.
Oh my gosh! You have an actual book about your chicken.
Yeah. Can you get me Adele? And she wears. She has nail polish, and she is a chicken who identifies as a dog. And
oh my God, this is hilarious.
So this is Miss Adele. I'm going to show you her nails. Hold on, Miss Adele. Can you see her?
Oh my gosh, I've never seen a chicken with painted nails ever. Hello, Adele.
She's like, I am not ready. She's like, I am not camera ready. She's like, I am not camera ready.
This is totally the Funny Farm. I love it so much. So is she named after Adele the singer?
Yes, the singer, because she just kind of, whenever usually I'm on the phone, she's usually like, or on a Zoom, she's like, gurk, gurk, gurk. So this is Lily, and her claim to fame is I take her to kids' to schools, and then I put them on their heads. So the kids love that because she'll just sit there.
Oh my God, she is sitting on your cowboy hat. That is adorable.
She's a full-grown chicken. Again, she doesn't really know that she's a chicken. She thinks that, she lives in the house. The other chickens are a little bit mean to her. So we say, it's an anti-bullying place. So, yeah. Okay.
No extra treats for you guys. You're bullying.
So anyway, so that's part of our kindness program. And I think, we don't only do it with schools. We try and go wherever we can. People have us at their book clubs. And, if they let us bring animals, we do. And we show them how they eat in their high chairs and things like that.
Now, this is probably something you don't ask to a mom, but do you have a favorite?
I would say Tucker, the little German Shepherd. Now he's a big German Shepherd. I always say, now I used to say that about kids. I said, I never knew that parents had favorites, but now I know they do. It's a little extra special because he had such a challenging life trying to stay alive. So I think that's why I just poured my heart and soul into keeping him going. And it's working, but he's like my shadow. If I'm walking around and I happen to go into one of the barns, he'll be out there and they're like, all right, we know Laurie's in that building because that's where he is. He's standing out there waiting for me until I come out.
Now, who sleeps in the bed? Does anybody sleep in the bed? Does everybody sleep in the bed?
Everybody sleeps. Not everybody, because I have 12 dogs. They couldn't fit. And some of them are big. So most of the little dogs sleep with me. And then there's cats. And, it depends on the night. But, yeah, usually, there's a bunch of dogs in there.
You are a beautiful woman. Do you give yourself a social life?
But I used to. I have friends I would go out with. And I was married at one point. I said it's not real conducive to relationships having a life like this. But I'm good. I'm good with this. I was with a guy for 11 years. And when Adele, the diva chicken, people say, why does she live in your house? I'm like, because she won't go outside. She came up. I had rescued her. And she was here for a couple of days. And she flew up and started knocking on the door. And every time I put her out, she would fly back up, knock on the door. She would be freaking out. So I said, I think that she's going to have to live in the house. And he said, I am not living with a chicken. And I'm like, see ya, bye-bye now.
Well, that was an easy choice for me.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Like, seriously, you draw the line at the chicken? But, and then I was always like sneaking animals in. He was like, we can't have any more. And if he would just keel over if he saw everything that's in my house right now. It's been incredible.
You know what? He's not. So that's okay.
No, that's right.
Your house, your rules.
That's right. And I'm thinking, why did I even let that happen? You try and make your relationship work. And then after a while, I was like, okay.
I get it. We've all done that.
Yeah.
Probably not to the extent of a chicken broke us, but still.
But she's a much better roommate anyway.
Of course
she does have to wear a diaper, though, because you cannot potty train a chicken. I have tried. It doesn't work.
I got to tell you. There's never been a time in my life where I heard a sentence where I thought, I never expected to hear that until right now. Like, that is the sentence that if somebody said when I was like 5, you're going to hear this someday. No, I'm not. Get out of here. You cannot potty train a chicken. I've tried.
I have tried. My volunteers say, did you ever play that game, Have You Ever? Because they said every day there's something going on here. They're like, never in my life did I think I was going to be doing X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, never, ever have I tried to potty train a chicken. So do they, again, another sentence I never thought I'd say, do they sell chicken diapers or what?
They
is this
do.
a very...
You buy them on Amazon. Somebody makes them. Yes, somebody makes them. And, she wasn't really a fan in the beginning because she's quite the blingy girl. You can see her. This is her tutu.
She's beautiful with that tutu, I tell you.
Isn't she beautiful? She's molting right now, which is scary because she became naked last year before she grew all her feathers back. But this is the diaper. It kind of goes on like a bag because it can't be squished up like a person diaper. It's got to be like a little bag so it doesn't go up against their feathers. So drops in the bag and then it comes on like suspenders over their wings and then they have clips. And, when you're a new volunteer and you're in trouble, we say, this is your job. You're going to be washing out the chicken diapers. Because they're recyclable.
Oh, they're reusable.
Oh, they're reusable. They're like those old fabric type that you had when you were a kid. Yeah.
I now can honestly say Amazon sells everything.
Everything, right? Yep, absolutely.
Wow. Oh my gosh, you are such a gem of a human. I can't even. What is your Facebook page that people can watch the video that you do? Because I think that's so cool. And that way you can see the animals you actually have, which is so awesome.
Right. So we're Funny Farm Rescue in Mays Landing. We are on Instagram and Facebook. And then it's also on YouTube. We put the old episodes up on YouTube once, they are shown on Facebook. But it's so much fun. And then our website is funnyfarmrescue.org, which shows our events and things. And the one thing about us, I said, we're not like Sarah McLachlan commercial, like where they're showing all the death and destruction and all the sad stories. We're the Funny Farm. We don't concentrate on
In the arms of an angel.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. We concentrate on where they're going and where they are and not where they came from, because everybody knows those sad stories. We've all seen the commercials. We all know. We've all read about it. We've all seen it online. And we want to just help them. We want to forget the past, like my past. I went through it and made me what I am today, like strong. Like I have people at work going, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good. I was 5. I'm fine now." Like they read the book and found out all this stuff about me. Well, these animals went through it, but now look where they are, and that's what we just concentrate on that.
Exactly. You are making their world better and the world better with everything you're doing. And let's just focus on that. I love that. I love that attitude. And I love what you're doing. I was going to say, please keep doing what you're doing, but hello, you'll do this forever, ever, ever.
Absolutely.
Because it's just you.
And I love what you're doing. I love that you're doing a feel-good podcast. That's amazing. I mean, that is wonderful. So they have those news programs that they just do good stories too. They're the ones that I want to watch, and you're the ones I want to listen to. So yep. I think that's amazing that you're spreading good throughout the world.
What town in New Jersey, like bigger town that I've heard of, are you near? Because I'm coming to see you at some point.
Atlantic City, believe it or not, we are a half an hour from Atlantic City. You know Atlantic City, right? So if you're on your way down, now
that's even better.
I know. People are like, so it's funny. I live a half an hour. I don't go unless when I used to go out with my friends to the shows and stuff. Lately, not so much because it's just been a lot. But Tuesdays and Sundays we're open. You have to sign a waiver before you come because you could be walking around and get a kiss from a goose with his hard beak. So there are 2 cows that are loose. There's some horses that are loose. There's emus. They come up to you. You feel like, did you ever drive through the safari at Great Adventure? People are like, this is like the safari at Great Adventure, but you're walking and they're walking with you.
But you're walking.
Say, can I pet the animals? I'm like, try not to. You're standing at the store to buy a little bit of food for the animals and a donkey will come up. We were talking about your shirt earlier. My golden girl donkeys. I have 3 of them. I have Blanche, Rose, and Dorothy. I only had a 3 spot. So Nikki, that's my parrot wanting to be on the live here.
Oh my gosh, I love that. The parrot's mad that the parrot's not on the podcast.
Oh yeah, she's.
Well, tell the parrot that she is on it in the background.
Nikki, keep it down.
No, I love it. It just adds to the authenticity of it. Do you still have the Golden Girls?
I do. I sure do. Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I love that. The real ones aren't with us anymore, so I'm glad to know that their names are living on.
They are all. The real ones are all gone.
Yeah, Rose was the last one.
Betty was a huge animal supporter.
Betty would love you.
I wish I got to meet Betty. I know. I love her.
I'm sure she's hanging out with your mom in heaven. Trust me.
I'm a little worried about those two. The Funny Farm Heaven division is definitely bigger.
And you know what? They are super proud of you, as they should be. You are everything that's right with the world.
Thank you, Erin. I hope. So my mom died at 52, and so my 53rd birthday was like a big one for me since I made it. So I'm like, I'm just trying to set everything up now that if something, God forbid, does happen, it will always remain an animal sanctuary. It will never go out of business. I have plans in place to keep it going.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I also love the fact that the parrot kind of laughed at that, like, you can't get rid of me even if you wanted to.
I bring her out sometimes when we do our demonstration, and I'll be getting ready to talk, and then she'll... Parrots live to be 80 years old. I always say she's 11. She may not see 12. We joke, but
What is her name?
Nikki. I have to go see her real quick.
Nikki. Oh, I gotta see Nikki. Hello. You are such a pretty bird.
A lot of them can say very bad words, but thank goodness she, like I said, doesn't have a very large vocabulary, so she can't say them because I would never say a bad word.
Oh, sure. I actually wrote a story about parrots that had to be separated from some sort of a sanctuary because when people came to visit, they would egg each other on and swear at the people to the point that they had to go away from each other because it was like people were like, oh my gosh, what did he just say?
It happens more often than not. You would not believe it. So a lot of times, especially when they're surrendering them, that's why. So I was a little nervous. And, like I said, they live a long, long time. She's going to way outlive me. So I always say, put it in your will to somebody you don't like. No, I'm kidding. I always say you have to make sure you will them to someone because they live a long time. She has her own space outside, but she's outside. People are like, are her wings clipped? I'm like, no. I said she would never leave. She won't fly away.
She found paradise. She's not going anywhere.
We have a gate that's open, and people say, don't the animals go out? And I said, if you were an animal, would you leave? And they're like, yeah, true. It's like Disney World for animals here. They got food, they have their friends, they have love, they have attention.
Oh, yeah.
And, why would you leave, right?
If anything, they're going to get more friends and bringing them back. That's the only thing I'd be worried about. Oh, my gosh. Thank you. This has been such a joy. You are fantastic. And I'm a huge forever fan, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you for everything you do. I could talk to you all day. You're so fun.
Thank you. Well, anytime you have my number, Erin, call me.
I will, and I'm definitely gonna come see you, and I'm gonna kick some of my severance your way because I love what you're doing. So
I can't wait. I can't wait for you to come visit.
I can't either. That's so cool. Thank you so much for making the world a better place. Bye, Nikki. I'll miss you. Okay, we are going to ignore the fact that my husband's like, hey, save that severance, because I'm mostly saving it. Who am I kidding? I am not saving it, but I am spending it on very good things that help people and animals. I mean, he knew what he was getting into when he married me. So we're going to just scoot past that little part. And I hope you enjoyed the time that I had with Laurie, because I do think she is a cool, awesome human. Can you imagine having that many dogs and the parrot, God bless that parrot, and all of the animals that she lives with, that she takes care of when no one else will. I can't say enough good things about her. If you know somebody that is making the world a better place, I really would love to talk to them. Let me know. I have a whole website to make this easier. It's ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. That's it. Right there on the website, you can find links to the podcast, depending on where you want to listen to it or watch it. Everything is there, including how to get a hold of me and an email and tell me about somebody that would be great. Maybe it's you. And just so you know, there's no producer. I don't have a booking agent or anyone editing. If anything doesn't sound right or look right, that's on me. And I'm okay with it. But I would love your help finding these great people that I know are everywhere. And I appreciate the input. ErinO'Malley'sFrequency.com. I hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Bye.